Tell Me Lies star Spencer House reflects on Wrigley and Bree's complicated romance. Exclusive. Tell Me Lies star Spencer House broke down the biggest moments of Season 3. Episode 7, including Wrigley and Bree's complicated romance and breakup. Hulu's trending romance drama series pushed Wrigley to the forefront by revealing a bombshell twist that he and Bree had genuine feelings for each other. But Episode 7's wave of betrayals left them in a vulnerable position that raised questions about their future, and the consequences carried over into the Season 3 finale. Some fans believed they were never meant to last because Evan and Bree married in the 2015 timeline, but House offered another perspective on their secret romance. Speaking in an exclusive interview with The Direct, Tell Me Lies star Spencer House, who plays Wrigley, admitted that he doesn't think that Wrigley and Bree were doomed from the start. He said he thinks they would probably be pretty successful if they dated outside their friend group. House also explained why Bree and Wrigley are attracted to each other, pointing out that they see a sense of honesty in the other, and they've been starved of that for so long. This is on top of the pair having a natural spark. That natural spark seemed to power through the chaos, as the Season 3 finale strongly implied that Wrigley and Bree ended up together after the core group was torn apart by the revelations. It is quite fitting that Wrigley and Bree reached their happy ending, and many would argue that they deserved it. The actor also addressed the emotional breakup scene between Wrigley and Pippa in Tell Me Lies Season 3, Episode 7, revealing that he drew on breakups that he had in his life to navigate the difficult sequence. Given that Wrigley is pushed to the forefront in Season 3 with his surprise romance with Bree, some would think that it is a challenge to showcase his vulnerability in the new episodes. However, House admitted to The Direct that he didn't find it very challenging. Instead, he found it very fulfilling. Tell Me Lies showrunner Megan Oppenheimer announced on Instagram that Season 3 will be the last, noting that the finale was always the ending her writing team and she had in mind since the beginning. While a Season 4 is not in the cards, House did mention to The Direct that he'd be eager to dive into his relationship with his parents should the show continue. Spencer House: No, I definitely don't think they're doomed from the start. I think they'll probably, if they were able to date outside of this friend group, then they'd probably be pretty successful, whether or not it goes the distance forever. You know, that's always a massive question for every single relationship that occurs on this planet, but definitely I think it could be a healthy relationship outside of this friend group, and I think that's why they're attracted to each other. I think they're attracted to each other because they see a sense of honesty in the other, and they've been starved of that for so long, and they also just have a natural spark. But yeah, no, I think they got a shot. Spencer House: I've thought about the breakups that I've had in my life, and even if you have to break up, it's still an incredibly sad moment in your life, because you know you've shared this time, and especially with Wrigley in particular, you know he's had Pippa help him through the worst moment of his life, and she was always there for him. So I think he goes in going, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to tell her we're broken up. And then I think he gets in the room and he sees her and he realizes what he's saying, and then he realizes the weight of it and what it means and all, you know, the time that they've shared and what they've been through. And I don't think he is realizing that it's going to be an emotional moment, but it ends up being. I loved being able to dive into that scene because it was such an interesting thing that I think a lot of people go through at that age. When you're breaking up with someone, you think, oh, this has to happen. And then, as it's happening, you're like, I did not realize how much this meant to me over the years. And so I think that hits him hard. Spencer House:
Yeah, I think every little bit of him wants to stay.
Well, no, I'd say like 98% of him wants to stay and be there for Bree, but you know, there's also the part of him that knows, like, you know, when you are dating someone, I can just speak from my experience, you have a duty to make sure that person is okay and make sure that person is happy. And a lot of times, if you're doing it right, that's more important than how happy you are. And I think he's so recently broken up with Pippa that he feels that sense. And he's drawn to have to go over and see how she is, even though they're not dating, but they just broke up, you know. So I think that's left over, and it moves him over there. But no, I don't think he wants to go. Spencer House: You know, funny enough, I didn't find it very challenging. I found it very fulfilling. But no, I didn't find it challenging. I really love Wrigley, and I love that I've been able to play them. And so you just kind of, I don't know, it was like every scene that happened, every scene that I was given, I was like, maybe not exactly, but in some ways, I've been here before. It just happened to work out that way between an actor and the character that he's playing. So, no, I didn't find it nearly as challenging as, for instance, the first season. While speaking to The Direct, House also commented on the possibility of the show getting a Season 4, despite the recent announcement that Season 3 would be the end of the series. As previously reported by The Direct, House noted that there's always the chance that a show will create another season, and whether or not that happens, that remains to be seen for the audience. In our interview, he also clarified that he does know that Megan intended for the end of this season, season 3, to be the end of this story. So, if a season 4 were to ever happen, House said that they'd have to go back to the drawing board.